welcome back to Sew What If I Sew, or welcome if you're new. This is my channel all about sewing, dressmaking and all things stitch related. And this week you joined me for a little video all about my favourite patterns I've had from Love Sewing and how I feel about my Love Sewing subscription 1 year on. I should say this is not a partnership video. This is not, they've not asked me to do this. This is genuinely, I just thought it would be nice to take stock after a year and see if it was worth the money, and to show you some of my favourite patterns that are available to buy as well. So, they're not just like free ones that you guys can't get, because that would be stupid. So we're going to talk about those. But very, very quickly, I'm going to tell you a little bit about what's coming up, and also why I may have been a little bit more quiet than intended. So this month I have some fantastic collaborations going. I've got one coming up with Lush Cloth today. So Owen is interviewing me tonight, which I'm excited about, on her new, it's kind of like a podcast. It's like on IGTV, but it's like half-hour episodes and she talks to different people. Episode 2 with me, I'm excited. So you'll be able to watch that afterwards as well, and I will link it below so you guys can go and watch it if you would like to. I mean, you hear me talking enough probably, but you might find it interesting, who knows. So I've got some great collaborations. I've also got another collaboration with Owen from Lush Cloth, which is the Davenport dress, and that was meant to be my sew along this week. However, I still don't have that pattern. I ordered it, 2 weeks ago, and it turns out it went to the wrong home address, which is really annoying, because no one lives at our old house anymore. I don't drive and can't get there, and it's not easy on public transport. It takes like 3 hours or so on public transport, which I don't have right now. And that pattern actually was one of 4 I ordered, including 3 in one bag, and then one that's a paid pattern test I'm doing for Sew DIY as well. So I was kind of like, are you serious? So it had arrived to my old house. I had to email the estate agents who look after the property to be like, can you go and pick it up? And then a mate of mine who still works where we used to live went and got it. And then yesterday we found out that there was another parcel with the rest of the patterns. So my lovely friend Louisa has gone and picked those up, and they should be getting here today. But the upshot is I'm a week behind on videos. So next week you will get the sew along for the Davenport dress. And hopefully you'll also get some fun guest vlogs from me next week as well. I've also got collaborations with Sew Totally Me, as I'm one of their ambassadors now. And I've got a lovely collaboration with the Rag Shop. You guys know I love working with Steph, so I'm so excited. Anyway, back to today. I should just quickly say as well, it's first thing in the morning, so if my voice goes a little bit, bear with me. There is tea on hand. One of my patterns just fell off the desk, fabulous, we'll do that one last. And so if I get a bit croaky, there may need to be tea breaks. Now, Love Sewing, for anyone who doesn't get sewing magazines or isn't based in the UK, looks like this. So here are 2 last issues, here they are, lovely. It is a sewing magazine that focuses on dressmaking rather than hobby sewing, but it is one of a family of magazines owned by Practical Publishing that are hobby related. So they also own one of the crochet ones and the knitting ones, and But I am quite a big fan, like I do enjoy it. I like the issues. I think they've got a good balance between like free patterns and not community, but business news. So new sewing patterns coming out, new sewing businesses, new sewing shops, that sort of thing. So I would say that's good. I'd also say they're particularly good around the Sewing Bee, because they're good for like interviews with contestants and that sort of thing. I keep meaning to try the other sewing magazines out there. I know there is Simple Sewing, I think, or Simply Sewing, and also just Sew, both of which I want to try because my Sainsbury's stocks them, so why not? But is it worth the subscription? I would say yes. For me it is anyway, because the amount of free patterns I get that I like outweigh those that I don't, which is also, which is good. But also I do like the news in there. The only thing I would say is they can be a bit samey issue to issue. I feel like they're not great at branching out to different topics. And it's quite, I would say like a lot of the columns are very similar week on week. Although I do like Eliza Lex's column in there, it's always quite good. But I would say like there's a good amount of technical knowledge in there. but I do find that it can be a touch samey. That's all I would say on that. So what I have done is put together a top 7 patterns that I like, that I have used, that I've found to be good. That's not to say their instructions are great, because some of them really aren't, but the garments you end up with I think are fantastic, and they are ones I believe that can still be bought even though these came free in the magazine. So let's talk about them. Some of them I have made, and some of them are so firmly on my wish list. I think 2 of them I've not managed to make, and one of them I'm halfway through, I think that's right, but we'll explain that when I get there. So pattern number 1 is, this is the Butterick B6657, which when they're number named I always have to like proper look at them, because I remember names but not the numbers. So I made View B, and that's my red dress that is on screen now. I love that dress. I wore it yesterday actually. It's one of the most flattering dresses I own. And when I say flattering, that is not to be confused. Some people use flattering as a euphemism for slimming. That's not what I mean. I genuinely think it flatters the shape that I have. And I would say there's a surprising amount of bust room actually. For a big full pattern, I didn't have to do an FBA. I was quite happy. And what size did I make? I think I just bit the bullet and made like a 12 or a 14. Because I'm always like 4 sizes bigger than normal in big full patterns. It is what it is. But yeah, I would say, so View B, I particularly like the flutter sleeves. I found that they're a really nice shape, and they're so comfortable when it's hot. And that I made in red Daisy viscose from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. So it was a very cheap make as well, because I got that viscose on sale and this was free. So, you know, it was a great make and I would definitely recommend it. The only thing I would say about this is the instructions are actually pretty good. Like, they are like better than a lot of the ones we're about to talk about. But I would be aware that the instructions jump between the views without saying it sometimes, so just keep an eye out on what you're using and also which pattern pieces you actually need. There's a lot in here, so yeah, it's worth looking at what you actually need to cut out. Pattern 2 is on my wish list and it has been all summer, and I feel like I could still get it in, which is this one. So the McCall's, what is that, M8104. Again, I just find it really hard. And I love this pattern. It's beautiful. I've heard really good things about it from people who've made it, and I have got this amazing like distressed Daisy viscose from the rag shop actually that I got earlier in the summer, and this has been one of those that's been sat at the top of my to make pile and other things just keep getting in the way. So I am quite desperate to make this actually, and as soon as it came through I was like, ooh, that's quite like trendy and fun, and because you always worry in sewing magazines that some of the patterns you get are a little bit older, which is fine, it's fantastic, but when you're a young sewer sometimes you're like, I want something a bit trendy, a bit fun, and this definitely looks like something I could buy. So super excited to make that. Pattern number 3 on this list will not surprise you. It is the McCall's M7131 culottes that I have made 2 sets of and will probably make more in the future. I love these. A word of warning. The waistband instructions on here are one of the most useless things I've ever encountered. They are genuinely just not worth the paper they're written on. So I have done a sew along for these, which I've linked below. If it's helpful, check it out. Hopefully it, you know, it is useful and demystifies some of the process. However, I would say these are so comfortable, and the size can be adapted so well with the elastic at the back, so you can make it, you know, you can make whatever size is most comfortable for you, and then if you've got a smaller waist to hip like I do, you can pull it in at the back and it's fine. And I would say I wear these to work. I love the sides of the pockets as well. The pockets on this are really decent, and I can properly get my phone in, it's not visible, like such a win, and they feel like I'm wearing pyjamas to work, which also fantastic, love it. And I made these in an abstract viscose challis from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn last Christmas. Pattern number 4 is another McCall's one actually, M8090, and again, love this. I've made 2, so I will put both on the screen there, one after the other. So I love this. I made View B but without the trims because I like the extra bit of the sleeve, but there are multiple views you can make. And I actually really like this. It's a nice pattern, it's very kind of boho chic, so comfortable for the summer. But again, and I remember talking to Ellen the Stitches about this, because both of us made it at the same time, and the neckline instructions. So this section here, they're just awful. Like, if anyone has made this and can understand those instructions, genuinely let me know, because you deserve the sewing equivalent of a Nobel Prize. It's honestly like, I still don't know what they wanted me to do, so I just went, sod it, I'll do it. I'll do it however I know how to do it, really. But it worked really well in viscose, it worked really well in gingham, and I'm really pleased with this make. It's so comfortable, absolutely in love. This one is in progress at the moment. So I am making this view here with all the tiers and the sleeves. It's kind of like a Tilly and the Buttons indigo, but I'm kind of, the thing is, I've got some Tilly and the Buttons patterns to use, but I've decided I'm not buying any more because I really disagree with her sizing block. I think it's insane and it's just useless for my body, so I'm not going to buy any more. However, I did really want a dress like the indigo, so this is currently, I've got half of it made, and I'm super excited. Let me show you. I should say I've not followed the instructions in the slightest, and I'm using this amazing black dotty crepe, like a pleated crepe I got last year from Rainbow Fabrics Kilburn. I've had it for ages and I didn't know what to wear. So yeah, when I say I've made half of it, I've literally made one half of the dress, because I'm doing quite a few things differently on it. So it wants me to make an elastic channel. I'm going to apply the elastic on the waist slightly differently, and then I'm just going to do the whole thing, sleeves on the top, 2 flat pieces, sleeve in, and then just do one giant side seam, because I feel like that'll work for me. So this is the back, I should say. But I'm working on this at the moment, and I found the instructions to be pretty good, actually. And it's a nice alternative, because I know there's others of us out there who don't want to buy Tilly and the Buttons patterns because they don't work for our bodies. Every time I make one, I end up talking to people about how they don't work really if you're short, they don't work if you're curvy, and I genuinely mean like big bust to waist to hip differentiation regardless of what clothing size you are. And yeah, there's also been issues around size, inclusivity and all sorts of stuff. And that's not to say, I'm sure Tilly's a lovely person and everything, but I would just say those patterns don't suit my body. So I don't see a point in going for it. That being said, the Clio is on my Make 9 and I will be making it, but I am quite nervous to see how that turns out. So we'll talk about that more in the autumn. And last but not least, I actually have realised I can't count. Hysterical. It's 6 of my favourite patterns, because I had one that was 7 and then I was like, so I threw it out because I wanted to show you 6 that I adore. Is this. It came in this month's issue. I'm desperate to make it and I have no idea what fabric to use for it. I'm considering, I've got this black Japanese Cupro that I think this might look amazing in as a sort of just a black, black statement skirt, and then I can wear it with whatever pattern top, because I struggle at the moment with separates. I haven't got enough plain separates. So look out for this. This is a fitted skirt with a zip down the back, but it's a high-low, and I love high-low skirts. Even if it's a little different, I find them really like comfortable and quite stylish as well, rather than just wearing a skirt. Like, it's a little bit of an accent that I really like. So this came, I've always found the thread count patterns actually to have really simple instructions, and I found them quite easy to use, so I'm really looking forward to making this up. I might try and squeeze it in before the end of the summer. I'm going to see how I feel, but I definitely want it to wear like all around the year. So there we are, that's my top 6. Sorry, I really can't count, I don't know what's wrong with me. So yes, I am aware that Big 4 patterns don't suit everyone, and for myself, I probably wouldn't buy Big 4 patterns on my own. However, getting them allows me to try them out, and sometimes I try them out on fabric I'm not that fussed by in case I hate them. And then some of them I have sold off because I've gone, I've got the pattern in the magazine and gone, I hate that. Hate it with a passion, not wearing it. And I'd rather someone else got the use out of it. But it's strange because Big 4 sizing is really odd. Because I'm normally a 14 in Big 4, like in Butterick and McCall's, and Simplicity often as well actually, whereas I'm like a size 8 to 10 normally. So I've kind of got over the ego side of that, because size shouldn't matter and it doesn't matter. So I've kind of got over the ego side of kind of being a bit sad that I come up as that, because I've realised it's measurements, and if that's where I am on their sizing block, that's where I am, and you know, not much you can do about it really. But I am enjoying exploring new patterns and sort of having new patterns brought to me that maybe I wouldn't have bought and actually love. Like my red dress, I love that, but if you'd shown me that pattern in a shop, I probably wouldn't have bought it. So I do quite like the sort of random pattern aesthetic of being sent them every month, which is quite fun. So hopefully this has been useful. I am at some point, I don't know if it's of use, but I was considering getting the other magazines and then doing like a comparison of all three, just because I'm quite interested in the sewing industry communication and how we sort of, what central points we have. I know there's lots of great podcasts out there, and you know, there are lots of great magazines and lots of great blogs, but I do think the magazines are one of those big levelers. Like a lot of us get the same ones, so it's quite interesting to see what's out there, and I might just buy them for my own curiosity, to be honest, and see what they're like. But in the meantime, I am delighted to have joined you this week, albeit very shortly. Next week, I promise there will be a Davenport sew along. There actually will. And then other videos coming up. So we're going to do a little summer roundup of my Make 9 to see where I've got to, because I've made 3 extra things now. So let's talk about that. And then I'm also going to do my traditional summer garment roundup. I do one every season, so you can see what I've made this year. Sorry, from the last 3 months, this quarter. And then in September there is going to be a sew along for the Mile End sweatshirt, which I've now made 2 of and I love, but I know some people find confusing. So we're going to do a sew along for that, and we're going to do a bra sew along in September to go with the Funderwear challenge, which I'm also joining in with. If you haven't heard of that, go and check out Sew Got This, Sew Busty, and So Much More is doing quite a lot of support for it as well. But loads of people are joining in, so go and check that out as well. It's all about making underwear to raise money for cervical cancer, which is very, very important. So otherwise, have a wonderful weekend, guys, and I will see you all next week. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time.